Well, if you're a fan of singers like Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, maybe a little bit of Bobby Darin thrown in there for good measure, Aaron Hutton and Danny Carroll have just the concert for you. The singer-piano duo will be performing the Crooner Collection, those sentimental favorites, at St. Andrews River Heights United Church this weekend. They both join us in the Classic 107 studios to give us a bit of a crooner preview, such as it were. Nice to see you, gentlemen.
Nice to see you too.
So this is not your first collaboration in this genre, in this very sort of specific singer realm here, Aaron. What maybe drew you to this music in the first place, and what made you think of Danny as a collaborator?
Well, I, of course, come from a classical music background. That's where I started my musical education journey. And it was only just a few years ago that I was approached by Carla Burbrayer, who organizes the Music and Mavens series at the Rady Center. And she approached me to do a Frank Sinatra concert. And that led me to Danny Carroll. It was a bit out of my element at the time, but what I've learned about singing the music of Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett and all those crooner-type guys is they have a sort of freedom about the way they present their music that I wasn't necessarily familiar with coming from a classical music school. So there is that sort of freedom of improvisation that goes along with these iconic melodies and beautiful texts that just sort of creates an environment that is pretty exciting.
So I'd love to dive more into this idea of freedom that you touched on there a couple of times. What is it about this music, these texts, these melodies that lend themselves to more freedom in performance that maybe in your other work as a singer, which you do plenty of in a wide range of genres, what is the freedom that you find in this compared to other music that you sing?
Well, I think actually a big part of it is this specific collaboration between myself and Danny. And I'll let him speak for himself, but he comes from, I won't let him speak too long, but I'll let him speak about his own jazz influences over the years. And, with classical music, there is a bit more of a structure to follow in terms of where you start and what you do in the middle and how it ends. But with through this collaboration with Danny, I've sort of found that the lines are much more blurred. And, we've got these tunes that Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett and those other guys made famous. But within those structures, there's just way more room to play. And that creates an environment where, for myself anyway, I'm much more present. I'm listening in a different way. I'm responding to what Danny is doing. And there's just not quite the same way to do it with something like an opera aria or an art song. That music is great for different reasons. But this particular genre that influenced those crooner guys, it's just way more open and freeing from a performance perspective.
So since you've already kind of spoken for Danny, we may as well let him speak as well. No, I'm kidding.
I'll leave now. Thanks, Aaron.
No. We need you. We need you. As the constant plea of all singers, of course. We're talking about this freedom here, Danny, that exists within the music, and mentioned, of course, your extensive jazz background, but also a wide range in repertoire for yourself. If I think about your work in electronic music, for example, what sorts of qualities lie in the orchestration and in the accompaniment style that can help bring that freedom to life in the crooner style of jazz?
Yeah, well, the one of the main differences is that when we work off of lead sheets, with lead sheet is just the melody and the chords. and that's what jazz books are full of, all the real books and everything. And that just, you're putting together your own arrangements and things. And, Aaron will come in and say, hey, can we do this like, yeah. And then, hey, Aaron, let's go here and let's do this. And then and then even on the spot, like while we're actually performing something, it's like sometimes somebody will go off or he'll come back in doing this and that, and it's just more, it feels really alive in the moment, and it's progressively live because a lot of times when I do the improvisations, like it's all just new material, and I never sometimes know where we're going to be leading. And those ideas come off of sometimes of what he does just before, or what he's doing through a chorus or something. And I go, oh, okay. So it gives me an idea to take off on, and just riff on those kind of things. But it's fun. It's just really fun.
Well, it's fun also to hear you talk about how this orchestration allows for this freedom, not only in the music, but freedom of collaboration between you two. But also, it's funny as you speak, you're building in like a freedom. Like there's a bit of a dichotomy here in that like you're building a structure within freedom can take place. Maybe you can speak a bit, Danny, to how that process comes to be as you two work together to create your own imprimatur on some of these well-known classics.
Yeah, well, we'll sit down. I mean, there's some tunes that have their own classic little motifs, like San Francisco and stuff. Dum-dum-dum. You got to have those things in there, and because they're just a part of the lyrics, if you want to say. It's connected to it, but otherwise, Aaron will have an idea and he'll say, can we, do this? And okay, we can do that. But let's do it like this, and I'll give some kind of different kind of rhythm or something. Or what if we try this? And so it's just playing off of each other until we get an idea and we go, okay, this works. And then the most important thing, this is fun.
Which is something that an audience will pick up on right away, and they will on the weekend as well, without giving too much away, because of course we want everybody to go and check out the concert if they are able. What kinds of things can people expect to hear, Aaron?
Well, Danny, and the concert's going to be probably about 90 minutes or 100 minutes or so. And so we've collected some of our favorite Frank Sinatra songs that everybody, I'm sure, will recognize. There is some Tony Bennett in the mix from another concert that Danny and I have done. But this sort of opportunity actually, it often presents an opportunity for us to share a bit of ourselves too, obviously. So we've also put in the program, along with, the Bobby Darin that you mentioned, some Sammy Davis Jr., some songs that really connect to us. And I think that audiences show up to kind of experience a bit of that as well. There's some songs that are a little less connected to crooning, but a bit more connected to my family. Danny's going to play a solo piece from his recent album.
Sure.
So it will be the crooner collection plus some other things that are deeply connected to Danny and my interests and our abilities, but also our stories from over the years.
I'd like to go to this concert.
Yeah. Sounds like
sounds really good.
It sounds like that will be quite a wonderful concert indeed, not to mention the beauty of the venue that you both will be sharing. And we talked with some other jazz artists here in Winnipeg this week about the idea of how a venue influences how you play, what you share, how in this case the lead sheet gets those additions and those different ideas. When you consider a space like St. Andrew's River Heights United Church, Danny, what kinds of things do you think you take away from a space like that compared to the many other venues that you have graced here in the city?
Well, number one, it's the piano. That's how the choice of venues is for me. The piano's got to be a good sounding piano, and then how does it sound in the room? Is it do we have a pretty focused sound? Is there some like little bits of natural reverb, but not too, billowy? That kind of thing. And what's the feel of it? Is it feeling warm and inviting? All of those things that if I was an audience member and I walked in and I came to this concert and I'm hearing that and I'm seeing this and feeling this, is like just creates a great experience for the people, coming in to listen.
Given everything that you just said, what is one piece that you think is especially going to shine at this weekend's concert with that piano, with that atmosphere that you were just talking about?
I think that I think the jazz things that we really riff on, that kind of go to are going to be quite effective. But also, like the ballad, like the nice, pretty, slow ballady things, are also going to work, because if you have a center of sound production that is very good, then anything that you do sort of, in a particular style, because what we're doing here is like, these crooner things and with jazz improvisation. So if we were to look at trying to do some, little more funk kind of things and stuff like that, you'd have to revisit, is it going to work in here? But what we're doing here is going to work.
Okay. Aaron, is there a particular piece that you are looking forward to sharing in this space that you're thinking, knowing St. Andrews River Heights as well as you do, maybe that will also be something that the people who attend this concert will especially appreciate and walk away feeling that gratitude for having been shared?
There are some songs that I sing only with Danny, honestly, because of our collaboration and what we've sort of created. So it's hard to say which is going to be my favorite. I think there's some items on the concert list, like Mac the Knife. We're going to be doing Come Fly With Me. I Left My Heart in San Francisco, Tony Bennett's biggest one. That's going to be in the mix somewhere. And they're all special for different reasons.
Sure.
But basically, I have fun and I share my joy in these sorts of contexts because of my comfort with my collaborators. And in this case, it's my good buddy, Danny Carroll. And I'm just happy that he's willing to entertain my crazy ideas. I found someone who's almost as crazy as me to collaborate with. And I think the audience is going to pick up on a bit of that craziness, but hopefully the joy that I'm putting out there too.
All the best performances have a little bit of crazy, I think.
You know what? I tell you what's really fun is when you're in the middle of a piece and you're doing something, somebody does something dumb, and you're looking at each other and you're laughing and you're smiling, and it's like, hey, this is cool. What are we doing? I don't know, but this is great.
It's a moment where you go, all right, this is taking a turn, and here we go.
And you, the audience, are going to come along for the ride at this concert. Aaron Hutton sings the Crooner Collection, those sentimental favorites, alongside pianist Danny Carroll. That concert taking place on Saturday, October the 18th at 7:30. We'll have more information on tickets in just a little bit. Danny and Aaron, this is such a joy to hear about, and all the best for this weekend's concert. Thank you so much for stopping by the studio to preview it.
Thanks you so much, Nolan.
Appreciate it.